Hey there guys, welcome back to Random Games Alex. I'm your host, Alex, and today I'm working on maybe not something that I would call a game to go with Random Games Alex, but I believe that this is nerdy and pop culture-y enough to say that it fits under my overall category. Today I'll be working on a 3D print that I did that is under the Studio Ghibli category, and therefore holds a special place in my heart. I'm doing a painting of a 3D print based around My Neighbor Totoro. Unfortunately, Totoro will not be in this one, so if you're looking for him, I'm sorry, he's off in the woods somewhere, taking a nap, I'm sure. So, to start off, I've decided to paint the shingles of the house red, solely because that's how it is in the film. It's super creative, and I just love the art direction I take in this. I feel like I'm having a similar issue as I did with the Mew painting that I did a while back, where I'm just painting each individual shingle before I move on to the next one. In that case it was leaves, in this case it's shingles. I don't know, I think it feels more pretty this way. In my humble opinion anyways. Here I'm just gradually coloring between the fake lines that I've made up in my head. With one side of the roof complete, I move on to the tinier roof on the bottom, and as well as the fine details underneath and to the side of the shingles. We can now move on to the other side of the roof. Once again, painting in lines that are technically there, not made up, but are just not necessary to follow. I think it gives me a little bit more satisfaction while I'm painting to do it this way. I'm honestly pretty proud of myself for not unnecessarily painting the top part of the roof, where something else will obviously be put on it, such as how I did for the Mew painting. Palm tree will be placed near the house. I'm in love with the detail of the palm tree print. Looking closely, you can even see the grain of the wood that was modeled into this piece. Now onto the thing that I've lovingly called the front wood, which I can't quite remember the name of. And with this being out, I still haven't figured out what to call it. But the minute I hear it, I'm sure I'll feel stupid. We're painting this part white, which is what most of the house will be, purely once again based off of creativity and not because the house is white in the film. Now we can move on to the main cat bus. The bus part of the cat, if you will. Decided to go with a light kind of beige tan color for around the bus parts. Getting inside the windows and making sure I don't personally hate it, because I will be displaying this myself, and so if I constantly see a part that I hate or something that I wish I've done better, that's going to just reflect on my life. But in the meantime, I feel like this looks really satisfying to see something painted at the speed that I'm going to edit this in later. Getting around to the other side of the cat bus now. Once again, just filling in all the lines, getting the insides of the windows and the rims of the windows. That way everything looks pretty put together. Pretty pretty put together. Now with the outside of the bus done, I'm still going to be painting the lighter part of the Catbus's face with that same color as I used on the outside of the bus. And that way it's got a pretty consistent look to it. I could have gone with a different color, but I personally just love the consistency of it, and that is honestly part of the design of the Catbus. So I will continue that design, and just honestly, I'm not creating this from scratch, so if I take any unnecessary or make any unnecessary changes to the color that aren't, well, close enough, I feel like I'll kind of hate it myself. It's looking pretty good so far, so now we can move on to the weird caterpillar legs of the Catbus. I mean, I love them, they are adorable, but they are little caterpillar legs. Gotta get around the feet, the toe beans. Oh, I love cats. They're little beans, but I guess this thing is not quite, I guess it wouldn't have the littlest of beans, being that it is also a bus. Of course, the entire underside gets painted, and even though I was super proud of myself for not painting something on the top of the roof, the underside of the Catbus will also not be shown ever again once it's in place, and I still find myself wanting to paint this. I'm telling you, it's really satisfying. Well, of course, we got the, we have to do the toe beans as well, and now we're going to do the other side of the caterpillar legs of the Catbus. Now with that tan part done and it looks pretty decent, we're going to leave it alone to dry, and never mind, I've decided to go for the windows again. As soon as I put it down, I realized that there was more, and I am completely right, because there's an entire tail of which to color some tan into. That would have bothered me like crazy later if I hadn't caught that. Just getting those stripy bits in and hoping for the best. Now I'm going to put that down and finally get to the palm tree, which, if you recall, I've already done this part, but my OCD brain will not let me just let it go and dry without getting that second coat in. Now we can get along to the cat's super hairy back. I know cats most cats have super hairy backs, but for some reason, painting this just felt wrong. I was like, my goodness, why do they have such a hairy back? Why does this bus have a hairy back? I think that was it. I have to understand the fact that it is a hairy back on a bus, not just a cat. This color does seem to dry pretty fast, which is fantastic, but it constantly makes it look like I am painting these little tufts around the edges of the hairy back a different color than the rest. And that was kind of bothering me a little bit, especially since I had literally just done it all in one go and it made no sense for it to be a different color. Now we're just painting around the little rat parts and then getting the rest of the details on the little tufts off to the side. Just checking out the house now, and we're going to go through and get the tiniest details almost off camera because I constantly forget where the camera is located, and paint this part of the house white, like I said about the front wood. The front wood, not the back wood. This is white. Once again, instead of just covering the whole thing, I've decided to color in lines that are mostly made up. They're obviously there on the actual print, but my brain just does not want to let me color outside the lines. I had a very similar issue when I was doing that Mew one. And now we can just enjoy as I do more painting off camera, off to the side. Once again though, I would love to tell you how fantastic the quality of the print is with the wood grain. Now we've got wood siding instead of the actual palm tree, but we've got wood siding, and it has, if you look closely enough, has quite a bit of detail on it. And here I am. See, I could have just painted over those little shutters before and the door, but I decided to wait until, what exactly? Until the outside was done? Now I'm doing the inside? I don't know. Now we're doing the side of the house here. Painting over that little bit of red splatter that I had underneath the windowsills instead of right over top of them like I just said that I wish I had. And look, I'm gonna look at the picture, I'm gonna look at the little the actual artwork, and then I'm gonna be like, oh my goodness, you know what this needs? White. But it's okay. Ends up looking super cool the way that I painted it. Now we're getting the back part, and because we just watched the front part, I'm just honestly just gonna skip past this right now. Now we're coming back to the front wood. Again, I have no idea what this thing is called. I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue, but even when I Google it, I can't figure it out. Maybe because searching front wood isn't doing anything for me, and I recommend that you don't search that either. We're mostly getting stuff that I wasn't able to get on the first pass through, as well as doing, you know, kind of a light second coat. Alright, we're back to the back. Back to the... Hang on a second. That is totally not the right color. This is why I pause here. This is totally not the right color. I pause a couple times and I go, what the heck? I swear this was the right color. So I color in all the spots that you can't see pretty much off camera, and then I look at it and I'm just like, maybe it'll dry better. And then I just stop. I just stop for a while. That's pretty funny. Here I am looking at it after it's dried a little bit and saying to myself, I'm insane, because that is totally not the right color. Now I'm testing the color, and while that's going, I'm just going to go ahead and grab my palm tree again and start going around it with a little bit of green. Had to adjust my camera there. Figured this would be a much better view for you guys. I'm sure the camera view will adjust a few different times, because I am not doing this all in one night. This actually takes me a fair bit of time. But anyways, painting the little leaves was great, but based on past experiences with 3D prints, I was a little worried that they were going to break off, so I was holding it pretty carefully. And with the top part done here, it's time to move on to the bottom part. I would say that this won't ever get looked at, but anyone who ends up picking up the figure and deciding, wow, this is hopefully cool, maybe they'll look at it and be like, but I noticed you didn't paint the underside of the leaves, and then I'll get an F. I'll just fail the class right then and there. That won't be cool. Plus, it's still kind of fun to twirl this palm tree around in my hand, and I do enjoy doing that. It's a fidget thing, I think. Something I wasn't allowed to do in school, but apparently they are pushing it in schools now. Now we've got this tiny little leaf that will be glued on later, and I won't be doing the entire thing because it's too tiny, and I would like to grab it with my hands that are a little OCD about touching paint, which is funny because that's literally all I'm doing in this video right now. Alright, a second coat onto the Catbus. Honestly, I'm not too sure if you guys want to see this. If you do for the next video, please feel free to comment. And if you guys do comment and you do want to see the second coat of something, just painting over a fresher coat over another coat, let me know. But for now, blip. Now I've come back and I've decided that definitely wasn't the weird gold color that the gold color wasn't the color that I was trying to paint the hairy back of the Catbus, and I ended up finding the original paint that I used for this. And so now I'm just going back over it. Oh my goodness, a second coat of white paint on the wood. Well, as much as I do enjoy that, that doesn't show up very well on the camera now, does it? So, skip. Now I'm just painting the little front license plate some red. Hopefully that's a license plate. I honestly couldn't tell you anymore. Oh my goodness, we are finally starting on the dark brown portion of the Catbus. Luckily making sure that this is the right color this time, and I am not painting it a weird kind of gold color from the top of its back and then having to repaint it later. That would really suck, because this is a much more detailed portion of the Catbus. This time I'm being a little bit more OCD when it comes down to this, and I'm pretty happy about that because I have already gone through and done a second coat of this tan coloring, and I don't want to do it again. And I will, because my hands are not perfect and they're a little shaky, and that's just what we ended up with. After painting the head and some of the side, it's time to move on to the little caterpillar knees. Little knee beans, or if you're a tarantula lover, maybe it's, you know, what do they call it? The red-kneed tarantula. This is the brown-kneed Catbus. Wonder if there's an encyclopedia of all the Ghibli animals I can find. I'm pretty sure there's a heron I have yet to see, so that'd be cool. What's the deal with those pigs? They're human, and they're not. And let's not talk about that, but you guys should go watch some Ghibli movies, because they are fantastic. Now we're doing the tail of our brown-kneed tarantula, Catbus, brown-kneed Catbus. I do own quite a few tarantulas, but for some reason, all other names are escaping me, except for their pet names. Like the first one that we got, we named him Fuzzbutt, because he's got a fuzzy butt. Maybe one of the future ones will be named Catbus, because he's got a cat bus? Never mind. Don't worry about it. Skip. I would say doing the bottom of the Catbus's hairy back is, and I can't stop saying hairy back, but doing the bottom is kind of dumb. But in this case, I will not be permanently gluing it down onto the back of the Catbus, because something I always loved about Totoro was the Catbus, and I just wanted to see inside of it. And for those curious viewers and people who come by my house and want to check that out, well, I'll be happy to say, hey, this comes right off the Catbus, so now you can see inside, and you no longer have to question if there is seats on that bus. There are. It's terrifying, but it exists. The inside, I decided to just go with that dark brown color for the walls of the Catbus, but we can't see this right now, so we're going to stop here and skip. Right now we can move on to some more meaningful details, like the yellowed eyes of a jaundiced cat. I'm sorry, of the Catbus. Just the yellow eyes of the Catbus. That's all we need. And is that it? That's it. Oh yes, the smile. We need the smile of the Catbus to really show you just how terrifying this is, and that a bunch of kids, or a couple of kids, just got into this bus. Now we're going through and painting the little shutters green. I have to admit, this part came out a little messy, but that's because of super fine detail and me not using a brush like a normal painter. I am crazy. Look at me trying to meticulously put in just green and realizing that my paint is too wet and therefore it drips. We're going for a light blue, like a sky blue. Nope, let's call it light blue. On the side windows there, I just love it. Oh my goodness, we finally get to start on the base. I never even shown the base until now, but basically we're just adding in some sand to the sandy portions, or dirt, or however you want to call it. And yeah. Oh, never mind, I've got OCD and a little bit of ADHD, so I've moved on to the rats. Rats. I do have to admit, painting the rats was super fun. Though I wish I had painted the rats before I painted the rest, because once again I was trying to be super careful of where I'm putting my paint. Oh my goodness, I'm just jumping around here. Here's another leaf that I had forgotten for our single palm tree. Now we're going ahead and adding some lighting slash, different colors on the leaves just to make it pop a little bit more. I really enjoy doing stuff like this, but sometimes I start on an art direction and wish I hadn't, and I'm too lazy to go back and fix that. Decided to go for black for the whiskers, not just because they're probably black. Honestly, I'm not sure if I looked this part up. Now, the most careful eye coloring ever. I was so scared that I was going to be a millimeter off and just have it looking in opposite directions. And we're going for a little bit of a pink purple for the headlights, which are the rats. Oh, I love the design of a Catbus, and the headlights are these glowing rats or mice. I think they're rats. They're just glowing and they are the headlights, and that is absolutely insane, and I love it, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. Got a dot in the eyes just to make them so official. And oh my goodness, we're back to the base. Let's get the rest of that sand in. Careful, meticulous. Try not to get any of the green, because that will be green. Alright, now we're going full brown on the deck wood of the house. And you can't see any of this, so skip on to one of my favorite parts. Painting the grass green. It is just grass, it will be just green. My favorite part about this is that at some point I stopped doing this for a couple months because life gets in the way sometimes. So unfortunately, I totally forget which color I'm using, and instead of writing down which color I'm using like a normal person, I just have to test that out later. So right now we're getting some green, and later you'll get a whole different bunch of green. As you can see here, it's dry, and that's because it's been a while since I did this. And we're going through with, I'm fairly certain, a different color of green. This green is the green that I used on the palm trees, but that is okay because I actually really like that green. It was my favorite part. The whole reason being that I forgot which green I was using. But watching this is literally me just painting every single blade of grass as if your neighbor really wants paint grass, and just going outside and taking a paintbrush and painting every single blade of grass. So we're gonna skip this. Now that that base is magically done, we have a whole bunch of, well, 2 leaves that we need to paint up properly. And my goodness, that's 1. And oh yes, I put details on the second one, but I don't know where that footage went. So I'm so sorry, you missed 1 leaf of detail. Oh my goodness, a 3rd coat on the house. Surprisingly, the lighting is better for this right now, but we don't need this. I'm sorry, the painting needs this, I need this, you don't need this. Pretty much the last step after doing a 2nd coat on the front wood, which after months I still don't know the name of, is just, doing a little bit of touch up and detail for the Catbus. Yellowing eyes, to which I splattered a little bit on the front of his face, which was not cool. Honestly, all that's left at this point is to put everything together, lose some footage of me painting inside the Catbus, and checking out the action shots. I hope you guys like and subscribe. I hope you like this kind of video. I love doing this stuff. Painting these things are fantastic, and the artists are just fantastic as well. Alright, check out the action shots and let me know what you think.